Hi, everybody. Welcome to Next in Creator Media. I'm Mike Shields. I'm here with Ashley Rudder. She's the Chief Creator Officer at Deutsch New York. Hey, Ashley, thanks for being here.
Hey, so nice to be here, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Excited to talk to you because I think you are my first person with this title, which sounds very cool and very modern for what the ad world is trying to do. Let's start with the easy one. What is that role and what is your job?
I love that you said it is true. I am the only one for now.
First of many to come.
Yes, for many to come. It's definitely a role that is it's an evolved species of a traditional CCO role. Like everything I do is like similar to what a classic creative officer does, but with additional layers. Like, obviously I have a creator's lens because I am a creator. I'm a brand marketer. I have that strategic mindset. Yep. Obviously the social platforms, adaptability, production expert precision, like all of those things are all packed into one when you get a creator. And so I bring myself in that multidisciplinary skill set, and it just gives me a totally different perspective and that stands way outside of a garden variety CCO. And that's why we went with that title, because out of everyone that they spoke with at DNY trying to find who was going to be the next to lead the creative at DNY, they were just like, this is different. You're bringing something totally different, Ashley, and we're loving it.
All right, I want to get into what that stuff that you're bringing is, but quick questions. What is it the Sochi studio? What is that? How does that fit into what you do every day?
I'm loving it. This is just, I'll start with this.
These are easy questions to begin with, and it's not always going to be like this.
Really? I should.
We'll see.
Okay. Well,
that sounded ominous.
I'm white knuckling it, Michael.
Right,
thanks.
Right.
Okay, so there we
you're totally at ease, and now I've ruined it.
I love it, but I found my tribe at DNY because they really understand like my vision of putting community first. Like it's a community first approach, and when you start there, the entire game changes. Like the nuances, the passions, the needs, all of that comes in about serving the audience. And so Sochi Studio is me bridging the gap between the industry and other creators like myself who are multifaceted in this industry or who aspire to be, because that's all I sign up for Sochi Studio. Everyone who works at Sochi is a creator in their own right, from strategy to production to anything. Anyone touching Sochi is a creator. And it's just about us making sure that it's all about scaling. It's all about scaling creator-led storytelling and ensuring that there's measurable results. It's a key part of what involves elevating a brand's owned and operated channels, of course, to enhance their organic social plays, creating holistic strategies that leverages creators' authenticity. And, all of that deeply resonates with audiences. So the future of creator advertising, to me, lies in partnerships that are more than surface level creators because they have the power to do more. And Sochi Studio is designed to unleash all of that full potential.
Do you think that's going to be a trend, or do you need to, in the historically, you could be you could work and you could, I don't know, make a TV commercial. Doesn't mean you have to be a history of filmmaking. I mean, I don't want to diminish the role, but you could be an expert in the creator space theoretically without doing it. But it sounds like you think it's a big advantage.
Oh, it's a massive advantage. I mean, it's truly not, again, not to be disrespectful. This comes with all the love and affection because it's just a reality. You can have a hypothesis in a lab any day of the week, but when you let that bad boy out into the real world, that's a totally different ball game, baby. And as a creator, they're seasoned. They have been there doing the thing since it started, especially in the beauty industry. Like we were the first creators on the scene, and so yes. It's a totally different bag. I mean, have you ever had something go left on your creator channel, and these people that you know and love and follow you, like how did you adapt and overcome?
No,
these creators have done that
record.
Like triple fold. How could anyone? Yes. You're right. I don't need. That was a dumb question.
No one's ever
part.
gotten mad at me as in the history of my journalistic career or anything. It's good.
Never that. So, you get it. You get it. And if you haven't been on the platform, because each platform is its own planet. So also, if you're not adept to that particular platform, you're going at it all wrong.
A bunch of questions coming out of what you said here. But I want a macro question, and I think I know what you're going to say, but I wonder, how are we doing? It's not as though brands have just started to figure this world out, but it still feels early in their maturity of the process and how much they're working with creators overall. So I guess, are we underinvested or overinvested? Are we doing pretty well as an industry? What do you think?
It's a cornucopia of experience and how people are leveraging creators. Yes, some brands, some of the most innovative brands are doing it right. They're really taking, they stopped relegating creator spend to like a small line item on their budget. And they're treating their creators more like a fundamental part of the media spend, because that's really what it is. And, they're kind of two different conversations, but, it's really about, what is your brand's potential? How are you doing? Like, why would you just do something transactional with them, like a one-off?
Right.
I'm sorry. And also it's low key or high key an insult to the audience. The audience is so sophisticated now. We know, there's no like random, card tricks that are happening here. Sleight of hand is no longer amusing. People are like, okay, cute. Glad you supported my favorite creator. Thank you for giving them their coins, but I'm not buying your stuff. So, that's the energy. And that's why, again, I think that the hesitation often stems from like a lack of understanding of the creator economy as a whole, how to measure their ROI, how you're navigating authenticity, how you're partnering with the right creator, because that alone is a big step to ensure that there's accountability, which is my job, because I believe that the creator economy can't thrive unless there's also responsibility on the creator side to perform and their commitment to perform for the brands that they partner with. And, the real roadblock to me is like just the deeper misconception that, viewing creators just as an extension of an ad placement or, rather than like as strategic partners with the power to reshape their brand narrative, that's a whole different bag of worms,
So to that point, and there may not be a straight answer for this or one size fits all for the industry, but I keep hearing different things. And I think your role says a lot. In terms of like where creator deals should sit in brands and agencies, like should they be, it sounds like they should not be one-off transactional things. Should they be, media placements? Should this come out of the media department? Should they be an extension of the creative? Is it really going to depend? Like, how do you think about that?
I think why are you so smart?
I don't.
That's why I like it, because you're smart.
I'm just reading notes here.
Listen, you're bang on. It's both. And it's not going to be I promise you my answer won't be annoying when I say both.
Right.
It's really about, creative partnerships are best when they transcend a simple media buy, but because they aren't just collaborators, they're really unlocking untapped potential, especially for brands owned and operated channels. Like that, honestly, to me, is the biggest miss for brands outside of like how they're using them as media, because, people expect a brand to be an entity. They want to interact with that entity, and just saying, oh, I'm just going to slap a creator on this and that's going to work and I can control it through paid media. That's not happening. But, you can co-create as long as you're not, strangling them with constraints around your brief. So that can kind of go left or right. But at Soshi, my team and I, we specialize in building like these bespoke creator teams that are producing paid media creative that is steeped in those brilliant basics of each creator, each platform's paid products, as well as those brand owned and operated assets at scale, because you have to feed that beast constantly. And I feel like that's the smartest way to go, in my opinion, because, you can always boost that stuff later.
Sure.
Watch it perform. Let's see if it becomes, a part into the cultural jet stream. And then you boost it. And then that's when things really start getting interesting and cool, because, again, like if people's come to us and like, yeah, you want a whole world built, we can do that. We can create a micro social channel just for this one activation, because we have a cajillion collaborators that we work with. And who knows, you may say, oh, no, I need high production, Ashley. No, only TVC level for me. I'm like, not a problem. We have creators with drones and cinematic flair, and it's just a laundry list.
The breadth is crazy. Yeah,
the breadth and the depth is beyond what I think people really and truly understand. So I think that it's really just about the asset mix, and you just have to figure out what's your way in. What's the platform? Who you're trying to reach? What's the way in? Where's the weakness in your creative team, and they can be injected into that and really enhance that.
Are there, without giving away anything proprietary for clients, are there good examples of some work you've been part of with creators and clients, or something you've just admired in the industry that are examples of the kind of stuff we're talking about?
Sure, certainly. Well, just to toot our own little horn here,
Sure.
Michael. We have this partner. I love that you're giggling at me like this. It's hilarious.
I'm just trying to get through without losing composure here.
I love it. So, I think a real standout example of our approach with this is CityMD. I'm really pumped that this just hit TikTok, and we help them out with their TikTok campaign. And this is a tough category.
I was going to say, that's not a brand I would think I thought it would say beauty or something, movies or something fun.
No, we like the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Throw the hard stuff at us, and because that's who needs this type of help. Even, the big ones too, but especially this medical sector. We started posting things 24 hours later. It's like at 300K views. It hit that cultural jet stream, and it's just going off with a duet. But it's all about us using those native bells and whistles within the platform, because again, I'm working with creators, so they can create in app. They're not scared. They're not scared to create on a phone, just like anyone else.
Right.
And
they don't need a 3-month shoot. Like, they don't need to sing.
No, they don't. Hello. Like literally, they even still shock me now, where I'm like, oh, they need 24 hours. And sometimes they're back in like 3 and it's done and it looks pretty flawless. And I'm all, this is dumb.
That's amazing. Yeah.
This is dumb good.
You've kind of hinted at some of this already, but what are some things brands should think about when they're working with creators? Where do things go wrong? Is it just like trying to take too much control, trying to go too slow? Where are the pitfalls?
I think, of course, I always feel like I roll my eyes when they're like, yeah, the creators do what they do best. Let them take the wheel. I'm like, yeah, that's boilerplate, man.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah. I mean, come on. Are you actually, but put it into practice for real, but also do it the real deal. What are you trying to actually do? You say you're trying to push a product. Yeah. Do you know if your product's even good? Or is it just like a bunch of people who, again, back in the laboratory thinking they know what's going on and what people want? Like, if you really that's the mistake. Creators talk to individuals every single day in a vertical. Why in the heck would you not have them in your product development team? Why would you not have them on your go-to-market
That's probably
team?
scary, right? For certain brands to get that early in the process, but it makes sense.
But why? Like, what are they doing? This isn't a nuclear facility. Like, they're not, right. I mean, come on.
Right.
Put them in the room.
Right. The Russians are not going to take the secrets somehow if something gets out.
Come on. Seriously. It's not that deep, Michael. That's what I'm trying to say. Just get them in there.
Yeah. I mean, and that way you have that almost like real-time focus group thing they can turn on.
Yeah. You can align those shared values, the goals up front, holistically now, like really and truly holistically. And that's why we love this integrated thing that we're doing at DNY with our classic creative for DNY. And then we have our, this Sochi studio that's moving quick and doing it big in a really meaningful way for brands, for paid and organic. But it's just like the whole world could be doing this. Get out of your silo.
Right.
Talk to real people. Do the real thing. And that's the beauty about social. It actually kind of elevates everything. People start doing the right thing when they're accountable to the audience.
Right.
Which is why, again, that's where I'm rooted in. And that's the vision for Sochi.
Okay, this is probably an impossible question because it's so vast, but are there creators right now that some brands, if they don't know, if maybe they know the big names, are there ones they should be really paying attention to? Are there really interesting trends or genres you're seeing? Or is it just, it's all over the place?
It's all over the place. I'm shaking my head at because it doesn't matter who the big creator is. You can create beautiful tension with non-endemic creators and flip the script. Like, record scratch. Oh, I'm in the middle of my cooking section and, someone's wanting to talk to me about this new technology that's helping them cook better. And they've never talked about that before. Oh, cool. Now you're reaching a whole new audience. We find the people that are important for that vertical, for that product at that time. And that's based on the secret sauce of looking at what they've been doing, where they want to go, who's not being spoken to,
right.
And from a cultural, through a cultural lens. Then that's when we tweak the content to start looking more like that person, to start sounding more like that authentic culture, to So it's really about all of these different facets to create a moment. You just better have a lot of money to spend if you're going to rely on a celebrity, then a mega.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, because you still have to let the conversation trickle down to micro, nano, mid, because that's where the subject matter experts are. That's where all of the really exciting niche conversation where people are passionate and they're just basically collapsing funnels and like, say less. I'm buying it now because I believe this person.
Right. I have this tight
me.
relationship with this one creator, and I trust them.
Yes.
Okay. There have been, I actually wrote about this week, but there's been I think I know your point of view already, but like there have been attempts at trying to make this easier to work with a bunch of creators at once with some kind of like automated product placements, automated ad buying, to make it a little bit more programmatic, even though it's probably never going to be like, do you think that's possible? Or is that like a crazy endeavor? Do you see potential there?
You know what? Sure.
Maybe.
I mean, automation can streamline the process for sure, but it can make more things for you faster, which is great. But it shouldn't replace the human touch. Like that's what makes creator partnerships and this ecosystem.
That's inherent to this category. What makes it good, right? Otherwise,
yes, of course. And again, like in the tools that we provide, like Soci Studio, we provide insights into efficiencies and. But the successful partnerships still hinge on understanding the nuances of a creator's voice, the nuances of their audience, and of course, what is culturally relevant. You have got to be a cultural anthropologist.
Yeah.
Also, on top of all of that, to make sure that this content really sings. And again, anything that can get more content at a faster pace, it's great. It's all about the process, but it's about balance.
What about, you mentioned how you want to make sure you bring accountability to the sector and so brands feel confident and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Is there ever going to be, have you figured out like what is success? I know that's, is there ever going to be like a standard, way of measuring this where like, impressions matter, conversions matter, cultural impact matters? Is it ever going to be possible? Is it really going to vary by category, product?
This, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or not, actually. But I really, of course, you can measure all the things that you just said, right? You can, honey, if you want a vanity metric, I can. And
brands love a standard, whether it matters or not, right?
Trust me, like an EMV, like I scoff at that. I'm like, okay, that's funny, but did it convert you? Okay, oh, great, you made it. Everyone's talking about you, but did they buy anything? So why are you measuring that? And why does that have value? And why are people getting raises off of that? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
My classic favorites are looking at this is so, you're going to be like, Ashley, are you joking? I'm like, nope. How many times did a post get shared? How many times did that post get bookmarked? Mm. How many times did that post have a community behind it with one comment that has 10,000 comments under that comment? That's what you should be looking at.
It's
as
indicative
your ROI.
Of interest, passion,
listen,
organic stuff, right?
Correct. What good content? It's like, oh, you have to see this. You won't believe this.
Right. I got to tell you about this thing.
I got to tell you about this. Let's do this together thing.
That's still the most real stuff that you can.
That's your KPI. And again, you don't have to have a fancy dashboard to see that. Everyone can see it, but you're not looking at it every day. Yep. Right. It's all right there.
I want to ask you something. You had mentioned, I've heard a lot of agencies and even media companies, they talk about almost having like a regular roster of creators that they work with. Is that a trend that's I guess I don't know how should I think about it? Is that like, can you lock up deals with creators and they're our go-to? Is that possible? Is that sustainable? Like, what does that look like right now?
That's totally a thing. Like, and that's actually what you want. You want the soft touch. You don't want to be, buy it now. There's only three left, because that's what some of those short-term ones feel like. It's just like, come on, fam, like calm down. I need to actually know if this creator is, again, collecting their coins, which I respect, which I think, again, the audience is so cool like that.
Yeah.
They're like, they don't mind it, but they're like, I'm not buying it yet until I start seeing it 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times. Sometimes they talk about it. Sometimes it's in the background. Sometimes they're doing something totally different but you keep seeing it. And then if you get those love mark stories and being like, guys, this brand, they put extra equity in me. Guess what? I got an extra editor and they totally heard me. I love this brand so much because they really believe in me and they believe in you. And all of that stuff, that happens when you have a long-term partnership.
That matters.
With
like that really, you feel like, okay, I'm going to be in this with this company for a while and they're going to help
100%. But the marketers just have to be a little bit patient because this is not something you can do overnight. It's just like, anything else, any other relationship. If you push it too hard, too fast, you get the ick, then they've ghosted you. And now they're looking at you sideways every time they even see you coming their way. And so, that's how people should just look at it. And then you have your fireworks, have your roster, your bench of like really strong players, consistent players. But of course, have a little sparkle too, a little flash, and, have someone you do something a little bit shorter with. Maybe you work with them for a quarter, for an entire season. And you're like, okay, that felt cute for that season, and those topics. And then you let that go. But you should always be analyzing who's successful, what's hitting, what's the consistent piece, because everyone's always chasing the viral, which it makes me want to gag just saying that word. So like, I call it, now I'm calling it the cultural jet stream. That's where you want to be. You need consistency. You need to move faster than the rest.
Yeah.
But it's about consistency and things that matter. In a long term, you need longevity of that kind of cultural resonance.
Right.
And
viruses come and go. Right. But those relationships last.
Exactly.
Right.
I love that.
I don't know if that could be, that's a weird way to sum this up. Ashley, awesome conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time on here. Let's talk again soon.
Please.